The early bird catches the worm. But hold your horses. Sometimes learning idioms can feel like the elephant in the room. Let me help you solve this problem. Welcome English learners, and I hope you are well. How has your week been? For those of you who are new to the channel, I'm Carly from Learn English with Carly, a qualified and experienced teacher of languages. I'm originally from London, England, but I currently live in North Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. Where do you live? As this channel is aimed at intermediate to advanced English learners, I know how important idioms are to you. And so today we will cover 10 animal-themed idioms. I will provide you with definitions and plenty of real-life sentences so you know how these are used in everyday English. Be sure to write to me to practice these animal-themed idioms. I look forward to hearing from you. Let's get started on our animal-themed idioms. Our first animal-themed idiom is the early bird catches the worm. This means that someone who starts early in the day or is proactive in a given situation has an advantage. Let me explain what is meant by early bird here. I am an early bird. I'm someone who likes to get up early and I'm very productive in the mornings. Are you an early bird? Perhaps you're more of a night owl, someone who is more productive later at night and likes staying up late. This idiom favours those of us who are early birds, as it suggests that those of us who start tasks early are more likely to be successful. I wake up early because the early bird catches the worm. Thomas is always the first one in line and does well at auctions. The early bird catches the worm. If you want to get the best deals, remember that the early bird catches the worm. Harry knew that the early bird catches the worm before he started his business. We'll want to be at the theatre early for the best seats because the early bird catches the worm. If you wake up early, you will see that the early bird catches the worm. Now to an idiom that sounds somewhat violent but actually has a simple meaning. To kill two birds with one stone. This means to accomplish two tasks with a single action. Students can kill two birds with one stone by studying whilst on their commute. Do you commute to your place of work or your place of study? Sometimes I kill two birds with one stone by cleaning whilst listening to a German podcast to improve my language skills. Jackson is taking your suit to the dry cleaners when he picks up the children. He's killing two birds with one stone. We'll get lunch and get petrol at the next rest stop. That way we'll kill two birds with one stone. Could you post this letter whilst you're in town? That way we can kill two birds with one stone. Have you ever felt like a fish out of water? To feel like a fish out of water means that you feel uncomfortable or out of place in a specific situation or environment. Francis feels like a fish out of water in social gatherings. With his working class background, Nick feels like a fish out of water among high society people. Tina felt like a fish out of water when she moved to the city from the countryside. Yasmin felt like a fish out of water at the party because she didn't know anyone. If you go to the party alone, you might feel like a fish out of water. Gareth has always felt like a fish out of water in large crowds. Our fourth animal idiom today is the elephant in the room. This idiom means that an obvious problem or issue is being ignored. I don't want to be the one who brings up the elephant in the room, but it needs to be discussed. Everyone ignored the elephant in the room at yesterday's meeting. I was trying to bring up the elephant in the room when they changed the subject. Rita and Ed have finally acknowledged the elephant in the room. We will need to address the elephant in the room during our next discussion. Tiptoeing round the elephant in the room will not help either of them. let's not ignore the elephant in the room any longer. When I was younger and in a shop with fragile items and I wasn't being careful, my mom would say to me, "You're like a ball in a china shop." China here being the porcelain or ceramic items. Like a ball in a china shop refers to someone who behaves in a clumsy or careless way in a place or situation where they are likely to cause damage or even injury. Peter's like a ball in a china shop, always knocking things over. The children are behaving like balls in a china shop in the museum. We told her it was a delicate situation, but Lisa went into the meeting like a ball in a china shop. Eddie was rushing about like a ball in a china shop. You're not going to go storming in there like a ball in a china shop, are you? Calm down, stop acting like a ball in a china shop. Do you know someone who acts like a ball in a china shop? If someone tells you to hold your horses, then they are asking you to wait a moment and to slow down. Hold your horses, we're almost ready to go. Just hold your horses, Paul. Let's think about this for a moment. I always tell my son to hold his horses when he's rushing his homework. The boss told the team to hold their horses before signing off on the project. You will need to hold your horses until we get more information. If you hold your horses, you might see better results. Now to a more exotic animal, a leopard. A leopard doesn't, or a leopard can't, change its spots. This means that a person can't change their inherent nature. Inherent is a higher level English word meaning natural or inbuilt. They say a leopard can't change its spots, so I don't trust Luke. Helen realised that a leopard doesn't change its spots after Liam disappointed her again. I told Gina that she has to study more if she wants to pass her exams, but a leopard can't change its spots. She won't do it. If Rick tries to act differently, just remember that a leopard doesn't change its spots. Tony is trying to convince everyone that a leopard can change its spots. Daniela has learnt that a leopard can't change its spots. Don't forget, a leopard doesn't change its spots. Do you know the story of the boy who cried wolf? The Boy Who Cried Wolf is a classic fable about a shepherd boy who falsely and repeatedly claims that a wolf is attacking his sheep. This causes villagers to rush to his aid. But when a real wolf appears and he shouts to the villagers to help him and his sheep, the villagers don't believe him, resulting in the loss of his sheep. The story teaches that lying repeatedly leads to distrust, making it impossible to be believed when you actually need help. Therefore, to cry wolf is used in everyday English to mean to raise a false alarm. Don't cry wolf about a minor inconvenience. Save that for a real emergency. Lisa's always crying wolf about her health, but when she actually needs medical attention, no one will take her seriously. The employee kept crying wolf about being overworked, so when he finally had a legitimate complaint, no one believed him. Nobody will believe the boy is in trouble because he cried wolf so many times. Have you ever cried wolf? Hopefully you've never been in the doghouse. To be in the doghouse means to be in trouble with someone. The Man City players are probably in the doghouse with Pep Guardiola for losing so many matches. Tina's husband is in the doghouse after forgetting her birthday. My son is in the doghouse for not doing his chores. Jack has been in the doghouse with the boss ever since he missed the deadline. Since Lewis broke his mom's favourite vase, he's been in the doghouse. If you don't get to work soon, you'll be in the doghouse. If you don't apologise to the teacher, you'll be in the doghouse. Have you ever been in the doghouse with a family member or friend or colleague? Now, if you have been in the doghouse, perhaps that person made a mountain out of a molehill. Our last animal idiom today, to make a mountain out of a molehill, means to exaggerate a small or minor issue. Edward tends to make a mountain out of a molehill when things go a bit wrong. Why are you making a mountain out of a molehill? You bruised your foot, not broken it. Losing 1 mark on a test isn't a fail. Don't make such a mountain out of a molehill. Simon's tendency to make a mountain out of a molehill drives his colleagues crazy during meetings. Instead of addressing the issue calmly, my sister made a mountain out of a molehill and created unnecessary drama. Have you ever made a mountain out of a molehill? Be sure to write to me and tell me about it. 10 animal-themed idioms today. The early bird catches the worm, to kill 2 birds with 1 stone, to feel like a fish out of water, the elephant in the room, like a ball in a china shop, hold your horses, a leopard doesn't or can't change its spots, to cry wolf, to be in the doghouse, and to make a mountain out of a molehill. Which of these idioms is your favorite? Which idiom or which idioms do you think you'll use the most? Do any of these idioms have the same meaning in your first language? Be sure to write to me to discuss and practice these idioms or anything else you wish to ask me. Thank you for joining me today, and I'll see you again in our next English video lesson. Take care. Bye.